Chiefs gear up with strategic changes to enhance offense and fortify defense.
Without having reviewed all the offensive film yet, I won't call it duo as a scheme, but you saw a couple of looks, right? They need to double down on that. They need to do some pin and pulls and get their athletes out on smaller players and give their running backs somebody to run behind. That's a huge problem. And that is also, you got to get to the edges with Breshad Smith. He's here for a reason. If you're not going to suit up Mitchell, then let him do his thing. This running him between the tackles is absurd. It does no good. It's not what he's good at, and it's not how he can help you. Motion him out to the edges if you want. I don't care. He can catch passes like anybody. That's perfectly fine, but you got to pitch him the ball. You got to run toss sweeps. You got to run maybe a little bit of counter with him because he can accelerate out of that hole better than anybody else they have. Even Xavier, who doesn't change direction as well as Tyreek Hill. Yes, he's straight line fast for sure, and he changes direction better than Tyquan Thornton does, but he's not Tyreek Hill. So when they tried to do that with him in week one was a mistake too. That's just destroying momentum. They got to come back from that. And to do that, they have to run better. To run better, they have to block better. Do you think there was some improvement there? A lot of people down on Kingsley Suamataia. I went back and I watched all the pressure snaps that Patrick Mahomes had. 3 of them he was involved with, 2 were his fault. The rest were fine, where he did his job and pressure came from somewhere else. So I don't think the sky is falling with Kingsley. It wasn't a huge leap forward, but it was a step forward. And I do think most of what I saw that he really struggled with was speed. The smaller players, Zach Bond in particular, but he dealt with power better. And I think especially bull rushes, he was better at sinking his hips and not getting bowled over the top and back on his heels. Did it happen every now and then? Yes. More in the run game from what I was looking at than the pressure snaps. But honestly, the pressure snaps are what we care about the most, right? Keep Mahomes clean. That's your job. And I think that he's taking steps forward in that department. It's not a done deal. He's not progressing like Josh Simmons is. Josh Simmons is a beast, and now we understand why this was so easy to project him to be that left tackle, and that Kingsley would not be, because Josh is just a better left tackle from start to finish. He was as a college player. We told you we were high on Kingsley as a guy that could develop as a college tackle, and now as a college, a guy who moved into guard. Josh Simmons was the best guy in his class, and I think he proved that. I'm tired of him making me nervous by taking, going over the sideline and talking to the trainers. Makes me nervous. But it is what it is. You got to keep him healthy, and if they can do that, that'll help. The other thing that I thought really stood out to me on rewatch was the intensity that the defense brought. Were they great? No. Were they as assignment secure as they need to be? No, but they were much better. I think that can still continue. Did they play at their peak? I don't think so. But I also think that they're a long way from the floor. That defense did enough to win that ballgame. I think that's true. Against the Giants, they're going to have a different kind of factor. Russ has gotten them before, and I know it doesn't make any sense because Russ is not a very good quarterback. He had a good week last week, which means he should have a crap week this week. But he does know how to get to Spagnuolo's defense. So you got to watch out for that. Matchup-wise with Neighbors, that's going to be the key. We'll talk more about that on Friday. But what you have is the ability for that defense to build on what they did last time. And if they do that and they take care of business, I don't think they're too afraid of the running game, which this actually matchup-wise feeds into what Steve Spagnuolo wants to do. But here's the other rub. They're going to put Jaxson Dart out there, and they're going to give Jaxson some RPOs, and maybe he'll pull it and run, and maybe he won't. They have to be prepared